All right, let's get straight into it. Samsung Galaxy S26 Exynos benchmarks are out, and honestly, this is way more interesting than many people expected. Because for the first time in a long time, Exynos is not the weak one in the room. Today, we're looking at three big chips: Apple A19 Pro, Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, and Samsung's brand new Exynos 2600. And yes, we're finally answering the big question: can Exynos actually compete now? First, let's quickly clear up this 2nm talk you've been hearing everywhere. Samsung is the first company to move to 2 nanometers with gate-all-around transistors. Simple meaning: better power control, less heat, more performance, and better efficiency. On paper, 2 nanometers is better than TSMC's 3 nanometers, but paper doesn't matter. Benchmarks do. So let's look at the numbers. Single-core performance, daily speed. This is the stuff you feel when opening apps, scrolling, light tasks. Here's how it looks. Apple A19 Pro around 3700, Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 around 3500, Exynos 2600 around 3336. So yes, Apple still wins single-core. That's no shock. Apple has always been strong here. But look at this closely. Exynos is not far behind. This is not old Exynos behavior. This is new energy. Now, multi-core performance, real power. Now this is where things get spicy. Multi-core is for gaming, video editing, heavy apps, long tasks. Here are the numbers. A19 Pro around 9200 to 9800. Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 around 11,200. Exynos 2600 around 11,369 to 11,500. Yes, read that again. Exynos 2600 beats Apple here. That's wild. Samsung's 2nm chip is pushing way more multi-core power than the A19 chip in the iPhone 17. And that means better sustained performance, better gaming sessions, and better heavy multitasking. This is where Samsung really flexed. Now, let's compare it to last year. The Galaxy S25 series didn't even use Exynos. Samsung went full Snapdragon worldwide. Why? Because Exynos wasn't ready. But now, that story has changed. The older Snapdragon 8 Elite scored single-core 2852, multi-core 9431. Compared to that, Exynos 2600 is a massive upgrade. This is not a small step forward. This is a big jump. And when you compare Exynos 2600 to the new Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, things get really interesting. On phones like the Red Magic 11 Pro and Vivo IQ15, Snapdragon Gen 5 hits single-core around 3500 to 3600, multi-core around 11,200. Exynos? Single-core, slightly lower, multi-core, slightly higher. So what does that mean in real life? It means they're basically equals. No clear winner, no big gap, no Exynos is trash talk anymore. Now let's talk about the Galaxy S26 itself. If this benchmark is really from the base Galaxy S26, then there's more good news. It still comes with 12 GB of RAM. That's important, especially with AI features, background apps, long-term software updates. Even with memory prices going up, Samsung didn't cheap out. That's a win. So, if you were worried about the Galaxy S26 versus iPhone 17, relax. Apple still wins in single-core speed and optimization, but Samsung is winning in multi-core power, raw performance, and manufacturing tech. And for gaming, heavy apps, and future AI features, that matters a lot. Let's be real for a second. Benchmarks aren't everything. Thermals matter, battery life matters, real-world tests matter. But this is the first time in years where Exynos is not starting from behind. Samsung didn't just catch up, they caught up properly. So yeah, if you're thinking about the Galaxy S26 and you were scared of Exynos, this time you don't need to be. Samsung finally made an Exynos chip that can stand in the same room with Apple and Snapdragon without feeling embarrassed. And honestly, that's the most exciting part of this whole story.